What's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Kraws, and you're watching the Crucible Coachworks YouTube channel. It does not get easier every time I say that. Anyway, this morning I sprayed the doors for the Slantnose, the spray poly. I wanted to do it last night, but it would have been a little tight to fit in the paint booth, and I would have to shift things around when I remembered. I forgot initially to bring them in, so sprayed them this morning, not a big deal. Right now I have the heat lamp baking on the Slantnose and moving it around so we can sand it. Tony's up front working on the front bumper, trying to get everything aligned there, fixing anything that I did not fully finish. Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts coming together right now that are just really complicated. So what I'm working on now next is the rear bumper extensions. We need to figure out where they fit on the car to adjust to based off of the rear arch. We changed the rear arch when we got to the filler stage of the project. So now the rear bumper extensions need to change because they don't fit anymore. So I'm gonna work on that the rest of the day and throughout Monday probably. And Tony hopefully will have the bumper done in what? Tony, you got the bumper done in what, like 3 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, the bumper's gonna take a while, honestly. So we're gonna keep moving here and we're gonna problem solve as we go. And we're gonna show you guys our problem solving because there's a lot of problems to solve. Yeah. Anything. I kind of like the idea of having the front be like rounded and then the back fading rather than being a full circle.
Right.
Kind of got started on the other side. So right now I'm trying to figure out the bumper extension now that we changed the arch to make it flow better. So I'm throwing tape lines down. Let's see what we can come up with here. So this is the edge here, Tony.
Thinking of opening it up that much.
Like that. Yeah, it's maybe a little wavy because I'm up close. No, that's not it either.
It's still making,
yeah, it's still making
a kink. If you're keeping the same radius and moving it back, why don't we just slide the whole thing back and see if that's, you know what I mean, and then
change the stick here.
The transition there, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's try that. If you're new here, you're probably wondering why I just weld this in one solid beam if I can, or without jumping around or whatever with the TIG. It's because I like to have good heat to get into the panel, to get good penetration, and also have it be consistent. If your panel heat is not consistent, then you're going to have troubles getting the warp out later. It's not about if it's going to warp, it's actually about what you do after it warps. And warp is just the shrinkage of the weld. It's not terribly hard to deal with actually once you get the hang of the theory behind it. But I'm gonna show you what I do. But look at that. Look at that nice penetration. Looks good, doesn't it? And again, what you normally do also is take a grinder, just grind the tops of the bolt down close to flush to make it a little easier to slide the planching hammer, which is what we're gonna do next. What's this? 7. Let's go with like, that's 3. 5 should be pretty good. Clean it up quick. Haven't touched this thing in a while. Really light pressure just to wash out some of the warp here. Well, that bumper extension's welded. Took me like, what, 10 minutes, Logan, maybe to planche that warm out? Not
at
even?
most.
Just about? Does that fit better for you?
That's about how much time we had to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to blast through it.
Yeah.
I gotta tweak the distance here to where we want it to be.
Right.
And then it'll get kind of probably pushed up just a little bit up top just to get a little more flush. Excuse me. But it'll get a little filler at the edge and, you know, down through there, so I'll block across the panel and be seamless, hopefully. Aside for, you know, the seam.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do the other side, and then I'll do the finishing bits up here on both sides and adjust the arch on both sides, same spot.
Maybe I'll come over and work on the bumper at some point today.
That would be really nice because we gotta paint this thing this week.
Right. The bumper too?
The bumper too. All of it. This whole car needs to be painted by this upcoming weekend, or during this weekend. So, as you can see, there's a lot to do.
Oh wait, there's a big hole right here.
Yeah, the edges gotta go in it, and suspension's gotta go on it. At least the wheels are assembled. The wheels are assembled, tires and everything.
We got a bunch of the suspension parts this morning.
Not the ones we needed
No, not
right
the ones-
now,
No.
unfortunately. But we have parts.
We have them, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we better just
Yeah,
get
I'm
back to
gonna
it.
keep moving here. So what I'm doing here is I'm using what are called nut certs. Basically, it's like a threaded insert that you use a tool like this, that when you crank it down, it expands, or sorry, it actually crushes it together to cause the like flange to expand behind, rather than like welding a nut to it or whatever. So then the idea is then I'll put holes that are slightly oversized in this so I can adjust how I want. And then you can literally just take an M5 here, hit these 2 points, and then I'll just bolt right on. Just like that. I love this thing so much. So the first print of the quarter panel intake duct, or whatever you want to call it, finished. After a catastrophic meltdown the first try, but we're good now. Look at that. I think it's dense. I used a 1mm thick nozzle to print it fast. This took like 5 hours, I think. 2 walls, I think like no infill. Let's go see if it fits in the car. So I gotta raise the car up here, huh? Please hold. I want to see how well it did so I can print the better quality one tonight, hopefully.
Yeah.
Alright. Should be able to slide this up. Oh yeah! Would you look at that? Is it the most perfect absolute finish? No. Oh, here we go. I can do that. Oh, that's better. Or try to center it. That is excellent. So Now we got to figure out what we're gonna do here, because do we want to adjust it so that's a little bit bigger so it hugs behind the lip a little more? Or do we want to have it stick like that and like have a piece that goes right here? Or do we want to like put it here and kind of like bush it a little bit? Or just let it fit loosely because it's a prototype. But it does fit pretty well.
Yeah.
Juan did a good job. This is the first version. We just did a 3D scan. And we did a 3D scan before I even did any body work. So this is a while ago. This is still in bare metal. And he whipped this out quick. Yeah, that's good. You gotta get Tony quick.
Yeah.
Tony, what you doing over there?
Oh, grinding holes in the fiberglass bumper to make slots for this. This is a factory GT3 lip, so we have some concerns about it fitting up with this less than factory bumper. Well, with careful cutting, I think we're there.
Very careful cutting.
Very careful cutting.
Precise surgical cutting.
Yes, might have a little bit to do yet, but as you can see on that spot, it's coming in pretty tight.
We'll catch Tony in the next season of Nip and Tuck.
Nip and tuck.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's popping in there now.
Yeah.
Definitely like fitting up OEM parts to aftermarket eBay parts.
Yeah.
I like the little roof in the middle.
Yeah, that's special. Creates a little vortex.
Yeah, it's like the 991, the Turbo S one has the pop down thing that creates downforce.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. When you go faster, it flexes more, right?
This is what we're shooting for. We're starting a little bit more like
This is the Mom, I want to stop at McDonald's. This is the McDonald's that you say I should have at home.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Nice. Hey, we did run into another major issue that I'm just gonna address quickly, because we gotta fix it quickly. When we were adjusting this flare to fit right, this dipped down a little bit. You can see the line here of what's level and what's not level. So we're gonna have to fix that. There's always something to fix, isn't there?
Yep.
But that's custom cars, baby. Custom. It's more than custom. It's super custom.
TM.
TM. I'm just sanding because I don't want to work on top of him and make a big mess on top of him, so I'm gonna continue sanding now.
I'll continue grinding.
Yay! Tony, less talking, more working.
All right.
I had a dream last night. Tony had a dream last night
Yeah.
that we put the engine in this and it was locked up. And it was like the day before the show and we had everything else done. And it was a bad dream.
Yeah, that is.
So hopefully it's not like a foreshadowing, like premonition, but
Yeah.
the sky is red. Blood has been spilled last night, or tonight, or whatever. This morning, whatever it is that Legolas says that's not any importance whatsoever. Look at that!
Yeah. There it is.
Do some adjustments in the actual bumper itself, but
That fit way better than I thought it was going to.
yeah, me too. That's why when we were talking about it, I was like, it might work. I don't know. It's worth a try.
It was definitely
Saves a lot
worth
of
a
headache
try.
when it does work.
Yeah. A little bit of itching, but no headache.
So what I had to do with the bumper extensions here was shorten them and adjust the wheel arch, because we changed the wheel arch up here. So these panels, when I made them in one piece, did not fit anymore, and I also had to shorten them. It was like about an inch on either side. So what I ended up doing was just cutting it straight down the middle and pushing it together, cutting that piece that fits perfectly and welding it together. And then after I made sure everything fit together and I did the nut certs, I threw them in the paint booth, I hit them with epoxy. Now when I sprayed these in epoxy, it was very cold this morning. It was like 38 or 42 degrees or whatever, so it ran on me pretty easily. So don't mind the runs, they'll sand out. I'm gonna let it cure overnight here, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do the filler work across the panel here to make sure they mesh correctly and whatnot, and get the wheel arch exactly how I want it to be, and then they'll be done. I also welded a nut onto the bottom down here with a little flange so that we can then bolt it to the diffuser we're gonna make at the end here, so then it'll stay sturdy. When you're driving around, it won't be like flopping all over the place. So that's the idea anyway. In theory, we'll see how it works out in the end. But yeah, that's what I had to do for that whole montage. So we have our prototype duct for the driver's side. It's now on the floor. So what it is, we have 3 parts. We have this one I printed on the Ender 6, the black one with a 1mm nozzle. We have the green backside here that I printed the 0.4 nozzle on the Ender 3 S1. Alongside that also we have this slip-on bracket that attaches to the underside of the quarter panel. Now we have to decide how we want to fix this to the car itself, and we're not entirely sure quite yet what we're going to do. We have plenty of ideas. But yeah, this is just the mock-up, and then the final one will be printed in a better material like ASA or this carbon fiber PETG I'm using, which has been fighting me lately. And in fact, this is our second iteration of trying to print the headlight for the passenger side of the car. The first one failed overnight because it clogged in the nozzle. Now carbon fiber has a tendency to do that because there are little fibers going through this tiny little nozzle. So if you get a larger fiber that doesn't want to go through the right way, it goes through sideways, it can clog it up. That's what happened. So I changed some settings to hopefully alleviate some of that. And also I started to print on the Ender 6 with the carbon fiber, and my settings were off and it kind of failed. So I don't have time to deal with that right now. I'll deal with it later. But let's go see how this fits in the car. So for now, because the wheel's in there, let's slide it through. Drop it again, Logan. Just keep dropping that thing. I do not keep that thing on me. So the concept is, like I said before, it's gonna fit up in here. We decided that we want to widen this edge another like 5mm so it can kind of tuck up a little bit nicer. So when we do the final print, it'll all align a little bit better. But otherwise, that's kind of loosely how it's gonna fit. And look at that. Juan did a great job modeling that and tapering it to the hose that we're going to be clamping on the outside eventually. Fits up nicely in there, and I think it really this guy brings the feng shui of the vehicle together. All right, so you can kind of see there, we have that green bracket here. It sits right against the back side of the quarter panel, except we have to figure out a way to mount it. Honestly, I kind of tempted to use like those really strong, tiny rare earth magnets or something like that just temporarily, alongside some double-sided tape and whatnot, just to keep it in place for the show. Because again, this is the prototype piece that's not final, so whatever. But yeah, it fits nice and snugly up against the quarter panel, way out of the way of the tub and everything else, so I'm excited. Juan did a really good job of this. So I got the Fender Edge figured out now. It's roughed in and filler work so that Tony can mock up with the bumper, because he's been working at the bumper like I mentioned many times before probably, but the bumper is about ready to go onto the vehicle. Tony has leveled everything out laser level wise, and we identified this line here was a little bit off, so I cut and smooshed it together and welded it and started doing the filler work to get the edge sharpened up that Tony can go off that to line the bumper up and fill out the bumper, because it's fiberglass, to meet and have nice gaps. So that's that. We had the bumper extensions sorted out finally, and I started also blocking on the quarter panel back there. I've been kind of bouncing around. We have 10 days, 10 days until the show, And this is where the car's at. We still gotta get painted. And I mentioned this before, I'm gonna mention it again. It's not gonna be just one color, it's gonna be kind of complicated. So yeah, you have that to look forward to in the next video. We will hopefully have the car in paint. Hopefully. If not, we're in trouble. So make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing, and telling your friends, and make sure you got the high ground. Anyway, I'll see you guys on Saturday. Later.